Going into Dune Part 2, I had no doubt that it would be good, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, or rather great as it was. I actually had to rewatch the first Dune movie so that I could prepare myself for the second one, and it paid off, because at least I remembered what needed to be remembered, because Dune is a really complicated world. It's a very rich, complicated world. It's just as how I would describe Game of Thrones. So many cultures, so many people, so many houses, so many things, religion and all those things. So you have to at least have an idea of what you're getting yourself into, so that at least you can understand where you're going. But Dune, the first Dune and the second Dune movie, play it off in such a way that even if you've never read the books or had anything about Dune, you would understand it. So that's why the movie has an A+ for me, because the first Dune movie made it interesting enough for me to go into the lore in itself from the books. But I didn't read the books. I actually just went over a lot of video essays about the lore. So yeah, the books are very complicated, and that's why Dune has been termed as one of those books that are practically unadaptable. And they've tried a couple of times before getting to these Dune movies. There's a Dune movie that came out in 1984. There's a Dune series that came out in the early 2000s, if I'm not wrong, to this. And out of all those three, obviously this one takes the cake, because they've adapted it the best way they can, especially considering it's a movie series that will go on, you know. I know the current director is going to work on the three, the first one, second one, and the third one, that the script has been greenlit, and I think there are going to be a couple of more Dune movies after the fact. Anyway, away from that, what I really liked about Dune was the fact that it picks up immediately from the first Dune movie. There is no explanation, oh, where are we, whoa, no. Picks up immediately, and it's just, let's go, you know. The first Dune movie set the foundation for the second movie, which I think they did really, really well. We obviously come across our favorite characters, Paul and Chani, and the rest of the Dune characters, especially the guys that represent the Fremen. Yeah, I was just putting up a slideshow of the characters because I don't know all their names, so yeah. I liked the pacing as well. I like the pacing because, I don't know, there's this thing this movie does where the small moments, the dialogue between our characters, speeches, the explosions, riding of the worms, you know, arguments, they make all these moments that you think are, okay, they all feel important. The small dialogues, the inner thoughts, hearing someone's inner thoughts, listening to the politics, the explosions, all these moments played off each other and they complemented each other. This one obviously has more action than the first Dune movie, and I like how all these moments, as I said, they all complement each other, and I really, really loved that about it, to a point where in this Dune movie, and I believe even in the first one, no moment is lost. You can't just cut out a scene and for it not to have an impact if you cut certain scenes off. You know, the movies where you look at a scene and you're like, we would have easily done without this scene. This one is not like that. Every scene is important, considering that they have to cut out a lot from the book for it to make sense on the big screen. I think they did a really, really good job about it. The other thing that I really liked about Dune is the fact that the lore, or rather the world, is just, it's livable. It's the ultimate escape. Right now, movies and TV shows have not felt escapable, because if you look at sets from One Piece, even Avatar The Last Airbender, the live actions from Netflix, most of the sets, the costume designs, they feel like sets, you know. A set should not feel like a set, you know. Costumes should look, at least they've been worn a couple of times outside the movie or the TV show. With this one, you feel like you're really immersed in that world. You feel like you're immersed in the Dune world. The thing with Dune is that it's filled with so many cultures, as I said. It's filled with so many cultures, tribes, if I would call them that, tribes, houses, religion, especially in the aspect of religion. Its religion is really, really, actually the law, I would say, is kind of held together by the aspect of religion, because of the aspect of prophecy, Paul Atreides being the one, I forgot the name, the one they've been waiting for the Fremen and all that. So you actually feel like you're in that world. The guy who wrote the Dune books, I don't know his name, I don't remember his name rather, he was fully immersed in the Arabic culture, in the cultures that are stayed predominantly in the desert, which are Arabic cultures. So you feel that in every way, even how they pray, even how they address certain things. You feel like you're in this world, you know. You feel like you're there. Even when you look at the house, the Harkonnen house, they also have their own aesthetic. The emperor, everyone, every house, every tribe, every world has their own aesthetic, and you feel, you know, when you're in the house of a Harkonnen, you feel the aesthetic. They are bald. They're really creepy. When they're outside, it's like white. It's like white and black. You know, when you're in Arrakis, the desert, it just feels like the desert. You know, when you're in the emperor's world, it just feels very empirish. You know, it's very comfortable. There's greenery. There's some sort of order when you're there. You know, you feel the difference when you get into all these different places and when you meet all these different people. So I really, really liked that. You feel like you're actually there. Something that a lot of these TV shows, and as I've said, One Piece is as much as it was great, they suffer from this. One Piece and Avatar: The Last Airbender, or rather I would say most of the Netflix TV shows and movies, they don't feel like you're in a fantasy world. You just feel like you're cosplaying along with the people who are on screen. So yeah, this one immerses you into that world and you feel it. The other thing that I really liked about this movie, the characters. The characters were all A+ characters. They were all great. They were all amazing. I liked them all, but there are people who stood out for me. First of all, Paul Atreides being one of them. I didn't think Timothée Chalamet would be able to pull off the role of Paul, especially as he advances gradually. It's not that he's a bad actor. I think he's a really great actor of our time. But them being able to make him such a powerhouse, you know, at the end of the whole thing was amazing. Because, you know, Timothy is not like big, let's say like Batista or Jason Momoa, or even the other guys from the film. He's a fairly small guy. He has a small frame. He's very feeble, if I would say that, without being mean. So them being able to make him that powerful, his voice especially, oh my god, his character development from the first time we meet him in the first Dune movie to the moment we leave him in the second Dune movie, totally different people. And his character growth is just something that you really enjoy watching, because you'd never know where he's going. You see his struggle, you see him doubting himself and all those things. I really liked his character. Obviously, I liked Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica. She became something else. As in, I don't want to spoil it so much because this is not a spoilish kind of video, but Lady Jessica as Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica was something else. Zendaya was also really good at her role. She stood out for me. The other guy that stood out for me was Javier Bardem as a Stilgar. He was actually my favorite. I really, really liked him. He plays this he's a tough guy, but he has his own beliefs that he holds close to his heart. So him being a really powerful fighter and just seeing him as a man of faith, I think he did it perfectly. Those are the people who stood out for me. Oh, and Austin Butler. I haven't seen him in anything. I don't think I have. I didn't even watch the Elvis movie, which I know he's really famous from. But in this movie, he's the right kind of psychopath, sociopath, you would think. So I really, 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 really liked his character in this Dune movie. But overall, all these characters brought their A game. No one was playing over there. They were like, yeah, we can't slack. And they delivered perfectly. Oh, the other thing that I enjoyed was, I don't know if I'm spoiling it, but was the places where we got to see them ride the worms, the sandworms. That was a really enjoyable scene, as in the tensions, the heightened tensions, the wondering how do they alight from these things, as in they answer a lot of questions about how do they get on them, how they ride them, but there are also a lot of unanswered questions that make it more interesting. You want to know more about this sandworms, and it was really something. It was really something. It was really something. Yeah. The other thing that I really wanted to touch on lightly is the aspect of writing characters as characters. You know, there's this thing Hollywood has been doing by setting this whole gender war where men are better than women, so that for us to write strong women we have to downplay the men. This one didn't have that nonsense. All these characters are badass. Men, women, they're just badass characters. They, regardless of whatever is between your legs, they're all badass characters. That's how you write characters, and from that you kind of see every character with their strength and weakness, you know, because there's no one, even you who's watching me, you also have your weaknesses. You can't write a character that is just perfect. No one will like that character, but this one, every character has their own weakness. Even Paul as the protagonist, at the end of it, you're like, is he a protagonist or is he an antagonist? You don't know. You're somewhere there, you know. He kind of reminded me of Eren, but you have that aspect in you where you can actually have this conversation and ask yourself, is he going to be a bad guy? Is he going to be a good guy? Or is he going to be a character that will always be debated over time? That's how you create characters. And the thing that I really liked about this movie is that how they wrote their female characters. The female characters are so badass. They are badass in the battlefield. They're not predominantly there on the battlefield, but the ones that are there, they're really badass and they're really great. For example, Chani, played by Zendaya. But where the female characters rule is behind the scenes. They're the ones who have woven these prophecies. They're the ones who are playing the chess. Yes, men are the ones who are ruling, but at the end of the day, the ones who are setting up all these things are the ladies. They're not shouting. They're not, they're quiet about it. They're wise. They know when to strike. They are powerful, not strength-wise, but here they're using magic. As in, I really liked how they wrote their female characters, and I was like, this is how you write good female characters. Not by you leading at their women. No, they're just great characters who have their own interests, who have their own failures, successes, strengths, amazing traits that you don't like about them. They're relatable characters where you're like, I think I would have done the same if I was in their position. I think I would have taken a different approach if I was in their position. That is what characters are supposed to do for your audience, But overall, this Dune movie was great. It was really great. I enjoyed every minute of it. Dune Part 2 is amazing, and I know Dune Part 3 is going to be even better because I think they are going to be able to adapt the second book completely. This first Dune movies, I think, are from one book, if I'm not wrong. If I am, please correct me. So yeah, Dune, if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. This is a movie I recommend with my whole heart, soul, body, mind, everything, my hair. I recommend this movie. This movie, as I said, is the movie of the year. I believe these Dune movies will be movies that will stand out within the decade that they will be out, because I feel like they are what Star Wars was for a lot of people in the past. And even I think Lucasfilms said that he was heavily inspired by what Dune was, the books. Otherwise, I don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be, but Dune Part 2 is something else. If you haven't watched it, find the time and watch it. Tell me what you think about it. Would you recommend it to other people? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Tell me why you didn't like it. Tell me why you liked it. Tell me everything. I want to hear it. So yeah, up until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.